sat fully reclined in my chair, relaxing in the air conditioning. The TV was on, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was more focused on the bowl of ice cream in my hand. I think this was the best bowl of ice cream I'd ever had. It was triple chocolate with brownie chunks and chocolate chips. And as I spooned it into my mouth, my eyes rolled back with pleasure. I was in complete bliss. Some of my friends wonder why I spend so much time at the fire station where I volunteer, and this is one of the reasons, because there's always good ice cream. At 9:20 p.m., I finished my last bite, and I placed the bowl to my side just when my phone dinged. It said, "One new instant notification." I swiped open my phone and read the screen, which said, "Commercial structure fire, Martin Academy, 3136 Heritage Road." I hopped up out of my chair and I moved towards the apparatus bay. Before the dispatcher had even come over the loudspeakers, I had already kicked off my boots and was stepping into my bunker pants. As I pulled my suspenders up over my shoulders, I listened to the dispatcher assign nearly a dozen units to this call. I felt excited, like an athlete ready for a big game. The truck doors slammed shut, and a few moments later we were speeding down 2nd Street. Our lights and sirens were convincing motorists to get out of our way. I pressed on the air horn as we progressed through the busy intersections downtown, and we soon turned left onto Pine. As we turned left, I could see a big black plume of smoke off in the distance with an orange glow, like a dragon that had been awoken in the night and was mad. I tightened my air pack around my shoulders, and I knew that this was going to be a long night. We arrived on the scene after 2 other engines had already gotten there, and I radioed to command for an assignment. He told us to help secure a water supply to one of the engines that was spraying water on the fire from the outside. As I grabbed the hydrant wrench and ran up to the building, I felt an enormous amount of heat, and I began to sweat in my already hot gear. I cranked open the hydrant, but instead of the normal flow of water, strong like a river, it was more like weak like a bathroom faucet. There was barely any pressure, and it wasn't enough. It was barely enough to fill up the hose to the truck. The engineer from the truck was yelling at me because his tank was almost out of water, but there was nothing I could do to help the pressure. Then I ran up to the next truck and I was handed a hose line. I turned back towards the engulfed building and I watched embers floating up into the sky and flying like fireflies on a summer night, and then landing in dry grass and immediately igniting it on fire. I put on my mask and clicked on my regulator, and I worked hard to pull hose to the small grass fires that were starting up before they got out of control. After I put out some of the spot fires, I crouched with a firefighter from College Place, and we directed our stream into the building from the outside for a defensive operation. As I moved the stream from side to side, I would occasionally hear a pop and see the smoke turn white and see white flames flare up. And I knew that I had put water on the magnesium, which explodes when contacted with water. So then I would move my stream somewhere else. Every minute or 2, I swept the stream to the right to cool a propane tank a few feet from the building. At this point, I felt like I was wearing full ski gear, sitting in a sauna, performing calisthenics. My heart pounded through my chest, and sweat dripped down my face. I tried to pull deep breaths of the cool air from the pack on my back to lower my heart rate. Occasionally, we would turn down the hose pressure and point the hose straight on our heads and let the cold water run down our back like we jumped in a cold shower. Eventually, I heard a high-pitched whistle, which indicated that my tank was almost out of air. So I stood up, and I was told to go to the rehab truck. I walked over to the truck, completely exhausted, and ripped off my gear as if it was on fire itself. And I felt the cold sensation in my hand as someone held me an icy cold blue Gatorade that was dripping with ice water. I smiled and I cracked open the bottle and I poured it down my throat. It cooled me down, and then I grabbed another one and then a third one. I leaned against the truck and watched everyone hard at work in the distance, and I was reminded of the moment an hour ago when I was eating ice cream. Again, I felt completely at bliss.